Hey guys, Kyle from TGK Motorsport here. Today we are going to go over the install of our wastegates for the 4.0T platform. Our wastegates utilize a 60mm diaphragm. What happens is with the OEM system, once you start getting to higher pressures with bigger turbos, you start maxing out your wastegates and you'll actually lose the amount of boost that you can actually hold. But here's a factory one. The factory one, as you can see, is absolutely tiny. So what we did is we designed a 60mm diaphragm and then we built the wastegate around that. So this video is going to go everything that you need to do to remove the factory ones and then install our upgraded ones. The kit is going to come with 2 upgraded wastegates, the passenger bracket, the driver's bracket, the connecting rods, vacuum hose, and all the bolts and nuts to swap and bolt in our kit. So the benefit of running a larger wastegate allows you to have a higher tunability aspect. The problems that we seem to be having is once you start getting higher than 30 psi, you can't really control the wastegates as much because the N75 valve is basically stuck at 100%. With having more tunability, that also allows you to not have to get like a MAC valve and switch to a pressure style gate. A lot of tuners I've talked to don't like tuning them because you basically have to change the whole wastegate strategy. This basically is just pull the old one off, put the new one in, change your tune to allow for it. I would not recommend putting these on a car that has basically R7s or smaller. There's no point. But once you start going bigger, these will drastically help you in that aspect. We have a car here that has a stock wastegates on it. I'm not going to go over the entire removal of the stock wastegates. I'll show you how to remove them, but it's literally 6 bolts. So we will move over to the car and we'll show you how to do it. Now that we are in front of this stock wastegate, there is 3 bolts that you're going to use to remove it. They are T30 Torx. You'll have 3. So there's going to be one down here, one up here, and then one underneath. If you cannot get to the one underneath, you can just pull the pin up on here to remove the wastegate. To remove the factory pin, what you're going to do is I just use a pick. Just grab the pin. You can either pull the pin forward and out or up. And then once that is out of the way, you're just going to remove it. Use like a flathead and just pop it up. And then all you have is a vacuum line that is underneath the wastegate. You are going to remove the vacuum hose itself entirely from the hard line that is underneath the cylinder shutoff valve right here. We supply a vacuum hose that's gonna be longer so that you can install into our wastegate. And that basically removes the entire driver's side wastegate. Now for the passenger side, I forgot to mention before that sometimes there's 2 different styles of wastegate brackets. I believe it's a revision from C7 to 7.5. This car has like a double lever rod setup versus a 7.5 has just a single rod. But the install is gonna essentially be the same. On this car, it doesn't have an over bracket that basically holds this and it holds this. It is still on here, it is just cut off in this car, but you have to remove that first. So what you're going to do is you're going to remove this sensor and then the sensor below it. You're just going to remove the plug, move them out of the way. It is a T30. There is 2 bolts. So you're going to have one here and one down below. And then back here, you'll have 2 more. Here is a bracket off of my car. So for reference, here is here. And then you have these 2, which are going to be, essentially it's going to sit like this. Once that is out of the way, it is going to be the same setup, 3 bolts. You're going to remove the rod as well. So remove this rod the same way you removed the driver's side rod. It's going to be 3 bolts. There's going to be one down here. There's going to be one down there. And then if you peek through here, there is one that is directly like right here. Once you have that, remove your vacuum line, remove your wastegate, then your wastegate is removed. Another thing that I have done is this hose right here. I would remove the clamp, move the hose out of the way. It's just air. Once that's out of the way, then we will go to my car and show the install of our wastegates. Now that we're back to installing the new wastegates, the first thing you're going to do while this is open is you're going to take your supplied vacuum hose. There's going to be a hard line that's going to be down here. You are going to basically put the vacuum hose on there and set it out of the way. After that, what you will be doing is you'll take the driver's side bracket. It's going to be sitting like this. You'll take your hardware, with the washers. After you got them started, it is 5 Allen. So I use a ball-ended Allen. Now after you have the bracket put in, you're going to be taking your wastegate. You're going to have to do this in multiple stages, just simply for the sake of getting the rod on with the space that you're confined to. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your wastegate, you're going to put your wastegate through so it's loose. You're going to take the M6 nut, thread the M6 nut on, and while it's still loose, you're going to take the rod, just kind of tip it back, thread the rod on, what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to adjust the rod so that this lever is just snug. Not pushing the gate in, it's just snaps on perfectly. So you're going to have to hold the wastegate into the bracket. So just keep going in. Right there for me. Once you have it set to where basically it's just resting on there, what you're going to do is you're going to take the flange nuts. You're going to put the 2 flange nuts to bolt the wastegate down. With the wire removed, what you're going to do is you're going to just push it down, just like so. You're going to take your wire, put your wire through. Now you got this one locked in. You will take the nut and you will jam nut it, and that is a 10 millimeter. What I do is I just hold the wire, doesn't take much. And then you can just take the 10 millimeter, snug up the wastegate. That's on. You'll grab your vacuum line and you will just insert your vacuum line onto your wastegate, and now you have your driver's side wastegate attached and installed. Now we are going to install the passenger side. So the first thing you're going to do is, I already have it installed, is attach the vacuum line to the hard line that's right here. Shove it out of the way. In the uninstalled portion, I told you to remove this. That attaches to this piece that goes underneath. I just set it out of the way as well. You're going to have this piece floating. That part right there will be attaching to the tab that's on the bottom here. So to start, we're going to use the extended ball-landed socket. We'll get this inner one started, so for the sake of not losing it. And you're going to take your sensor. You're going to push your sensor up into the tab underneath, and then that part is done. You will take your other 2 bolts and install them. Now that you have all 3 of them started, tighten them down. Now that we have the bracket installed, we are going to basically do the exact same thing we did on the opposite end. So first, take your wire out, remove your wire. We have a flex fuel kit on here, so we have to shove this out of the way. Snake the wastegate underneath and in, so it's loose. Thread on your nut. Now that that's loose, you're gonna take this, thread it on. Do the same thing you did on the opposite end. It's too far. Push it tight. Should just rest. One more. Perfect. You'll take your flange nuts. Attach the wastegate. Snap it down. Take your wire through, and you'll take your 10 millimeter wrench, jam nut, 10 millimeter. Make sure it's tight. Then you're going to center your wastegate, 10 millimeter. After that, then you will take your vacuum hose, plug your vacuum hose in. After your vacuum hose, you're going to take this hose here, you're going to plug it back in, then you use a pliers. Now, what you're going to do is you have to put your bracket back on. So you're going to have to kind of snake it around, snake it underneath that line, past the sensor, and it should just rest. You'll take your T30 Torx bolts, you put the T30 Torx bolts back on. Remember, there's some on the back side. Now you're going to take your harness. I'm going to fish mine more cleanly. Make sure you plug your two sensors back in. That will conclude the install of our wastegates. It is recommended that you reach out to your tuner so they can make adjustments to your wastegate duty cycle. You're not going to be able to just swap these and go. I appreciate you watching the install video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. We have a bunch of new products we're releasing this year, so stay tuned for that, and thanks for watching.